is I have family court in 10 minutes. And this is actually a follow-up court hearing. What has happened is this. By the way, my name is Sandler Francois. I'm your favorite divorce professional. And guess what? I'm getting divorced. It's been a very interesting process. After doing over 1,000 divorces, getting divorced yourself is quite different, seeing it from this angle. It's definitely showing me a lot of compassion, understanding the position of people when they're getting divorced, especially men. Because the reason why I emphasize men this time is because I have a family court date. I, along with my children's mother, have a custody and visitation order where we have shared legal custody. So I have all the decision-making power that she has. And I accepted and allowed or cooperated with her getting physical custody, which means the children reside with her most of the time. She has not followed orders, and she's been keeping the kids away from me, and she's not been communicating with me. Our youngest child, who went from daycare to public school, I have no idea what school she goes to, and I'm a very involved parent. So with that being the case, I try to cooperate, email, and practice patience with their mother who's going through whatever she's going through. And she's only gotten worse in her actions and in her sending text messages and our younger son's cell phone, acting like it's him, saying things to me. It gets crazier than that, but for the sake of time, I'll say I went and filed a habeas corpus writ. That's a special motion that asks the court to act immediately upon a violation. She violated the court order. I'm asking the court to help me enforce it. The judge quickly gave me a hearing the same day. It happened last week. And the judge even included in the order that she will be arrested if she does not comply with visitations and to grant me my legal custody rights, as well as allowing the children to speak to me on a daily basis on phone and video, because that's the way it's always been. Just because someone doesn't like something doesn't mean they get to change things. So it bothered me to have to do that because I think two adults, even if they're now on the same page about their marriage, should be on the same page about how they're going to raise their children. So with that being the case, today's the day where my ex gets to come in and speak her piece as to why she thinks it's okay for me not to speak to the kids or see them, even though the family court ordered her to make it happen. And she agreed to it 2 years ago. It's going to be very interesting. I have very little to say. I'm going to sit back and watch, and I will let you in on what happened in a few minutes. I think I caught you up on last week and brought you up to present date pretty good. Peace, party people. I'll be back. So I'm back after this family court hearing. Pretty swift, pretty easy. If you've been following these videos, you know one of the most unusual things is that my ex, my children's mother, or her attorney, in this case, specifically my ex, has not shown up to any court hearings. And it doesn't take a legal master to know when you don't show up for your court hearings, that's very bad for you. And it tends to be very good for the other side. I'll put it to you like this. Court is never good or bad for anyone. You know, unless you're going to be awarded a whole lot of money or something, I guess. But in a situation like this, there really are no winners. I would say this, instead of saying I won something, I'll say that the court saw my argument as being a good one in terms of having access and rights to your children. And they would not get in the way, as unfortunately a lot of men do find the courts getting in their way and not agreeing that they should have access to their children. In this case, it has worked for me. I'm so glad. I thank God, first of all, that everything's going the way it's going. Even when things are difficult, I'm grateful. But in this case, it wasn't difficult. The judge agreed, and we added some notes to it that my children's mother needs to cooperate in terms of sending out health insurance information. Of course, the judge was surprised that I don't know where my daughter goes to school. And on top of that, simply that their mother is non-compliant and doesn't want to communicate for reasons of her own. Not even by email. Just to let you know, all this communication is supposed to happen by email. I'm not interested in texting, and I'm not interested in calling and speaking to her. As long as we can communicate in some form. She elected email 2 or 3 years ago. I was fine with it. And all of a sudden, the thing that she asked for, she doesn't reply to anymore. And the judges have seen all the emails have been about the children, not any personal attacks or anything of that sort. So, men, it helps to keep your nose clean, to be faithful to the process. And women, if you're going through the same thing, it helps to be faithful and loyal to the process and to make sure your children are well taken care of. And it helps if you don't get in each other's way, both fathers and mothers. Communicate with each other. Get over the past. Your children have a future and they deserve the best of you so they can be the best people ever and not have to go to therapy simply because their parents want to act like children themselves. Just had to get that out. Next court date is March 7th in family court. And I don't remember, but I have a March or April court date for divorce. You'll see what happens. I'm out of here. Back to our regular scheduled program called Life. The best in your life, my life, and anyone else's life, including my ex, and especially my children. The best is yet to come.